I'm wondering, how could a guy with such a serious name, Theodore Seuss Geisel, end up creating the most zany, wacky, and fun children's books of all time? Today I'm diving into the fascinating story about Dr. Seuss, his life, his quirks, and why his books continue to be so popular decades later. Hello, my name is Linnéa. I'm a Montessori teacher, a mom, and a children's book nerd. And welcome to my channel, The Bookworm Club. Whether you're a longtime Dr. Seuss fan or just getting to know his work, I think you're going to find this video very interesting. So let's dive into the world of Dr. Seuss. Me personally, I didn't actually grow up reading Dr. Seuss's books, but my husband did, and he really likes them. So when we got our daughter, he introduced me to his books, and I find them very fascinating and fun, especially the Foot Book and the Grinch. I think they're really good. Stick around till the end of this video because I'll be sharing some pretty wacky and strange facts about Dr. Seuss. Some of them are kind of shocking. So, who was Dr. Seuss? Well, Theodore Seuss Geisel was born in 1904 in Springfield, Massachusetts. And did you know his name is actually not supposed to be pronounced Seuss, but instead Seuss? But since Dr. Seuss himself found that pronunciation of his name was maybe a little bit easier and catchier, he just leaned into it. Before becoming the world-famous Dr. Seuss, Theodore, or Ted as his friends called him, was actually a cartoonist and a magazine writer. He started out creating advertisement campaigns, and believe it or not, some of his early work was actually for bug spray. Imagine using rhymes and quirky characters to sell insecticides. I think only Dr. Seuss could pull that off. But his big break into children's literature came in 1937 with this book. Publishers rejected this book over 20 times before someone finally said yes. Can you imagine how different children's literature would be today if Theodore would have given up? Dr. Seuss published over 60 books in his lifetime, and they weren't just funny rhymes and silly illustrations. Many of them actually had deeper messages. For example, The Lorax is a powerful story about environmentalism. Horton Hears a Who teaches us about kindness and standing up for ourselves. And The Places You'll Go is a very popular graduation gift. But what I really think sets his work apart is how he really understood kids. He understood that kids really needed books that were fun to read aloud, easy to understand, and full of imagination. He even created a whole new style of storytelling that used repetitions and rhyming to make reading more accessible and fun. Take The Cat in the Hat, for example. It was written with only 236 words, and all these words were chosen from a beginner reader vocabulary list. And yet, it's one of the most memorable and engaging books out there. I think that's really fascinating and inspiring, how creativity can really thrive within constraints. But Dr. Seuss wasn't all about fun and whimsy. He had his controversies too. Some of his early political cartoons and even a few of his kids' books have been criticized for outdated and insensitive depictions. But despite that, his overall impact on children's literature is undeniable. He has inspired generations to pick up a book and enjoy the magic of reading. His work has been translated into so many languages. They've been turned into movies and continues to be a staple in both homes and classrooms today. Whether you grew up with The Cat in the Hat, laughed to Green Eggs and Ham, or were moved by the message of the Lorax, there's no denying the legacy of Dr. Seuss. His books really reminds us of the power of words and the importance of creativity and just the joy of letting our imagination run wild. So are you ready for some quite surprising and wacky facts about Dr. Seuss? I think some of them are going to shock you a bit, because I was. This first one I thought was very weird, and I'll also show you some pictures, so get ready for this one. Dr. Seuss used antlers, beaks, and horns from dead zoo animals to make his own taxidermy statues. What? I mean, look at these. You can see that it's clearly his style. You can recognize the kind of characters from his books. But some of these creations are like something out of a nightmare. No thank you. Dr. Seuss was actually voted to be the least likely to succeed by his classmates when he went to university. Well, he sure show them. Seuss added doctor to his name as consolation to his father, who had hoped he would become a doctor in medicine. One of the books that Dr. Seuss wrote was The Pocketbook of Boners. This book is a collection of boners, silly errors that is. By 1945, it has sold over 1.3 million copies. Dr. Seuss became dedicated to creating books for early readers after he stumbled upon an article about American children having trouble learning to read. That's very nice. Dr. Seuss and his wife Helen could not have kids of their own, but sometimes Dr. Seuss would actually dedicate books to his made-up daughter, Chrysanthemum Pearl. But he was actually said to be a bit scared of kids. He said in later interviews, "You'll have them, I'll entertain them." Seuss is actually credited with inventing the word nerd. The word nerd first appeared in a book called If I Ran the Zoo from 1950. Thank you from all of us nerds out there. The Grinch was actually based on Dr. Seuss himself. Apparently he didn't like Christmas that much. His car even had the license plate say Grinch. Green Eggs and Ham was written on a $50 bet. A Random House co-founder, Bennett Cerf, challenged Dr. Seuss to write a book with only 50 words. And Dr. Seuss delivered. Before he started to create children's books, Dr. Seuss created war propaganda. He actually even won some awards for this. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think about Dr. Seuss and his books? Which one is your favorite book? Thank you so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe. I post a video here every week, and I'd love to have you as a part of the Bookworm Club. I hope you have a great day, or as Dr. Seuss himself would say, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Bye!